Yo, what is good, guys? Welcome back to another movie review from Voices in the Movies. Obviously, from what you can see today, we're going to be reviewing Godzilla vs. Kong. The most second to best movie overall in the MonsterVerse. You're going to have to fight me if you say it's not the second to best in the MonsterVerse. Obviously, the first one for me now is Godzilla X Kong New Empire, which will be next video. But getting into the non-spoiler section, well, let's do this. We'll start by saying some connections, and then we'll get deeper in. This movie mainly, kind of focuses on this girl from Skull Island that was part of the Iwi. She cannot talk, only can use sign language. Dr. Russell, I think her name was, adopted her through law, everything, yada yada, whole court system. I don't mess with court. But, then she adopted her, but then but then they had to take Kong out of Skull Island, or else Godzilla's gonna come running to him, because he's the apex titan. But Godzilla keeps thinking that, Kong keeps trying to fight me. But they keep trying to hold him in habitat, which his habitat was okay. It was okay, But overall, this movie, it's a 4.5. It's not at the peak of Godzilla X Kong, which is 5 out of 5. It's 4.5. It's only because, I'm not trying to be biased right now, but it's only because they had no humor. They had no humor. It was really all serious. Yeah, I get it. It's Apex Titan. I get it. Apex versus Apex. But, put a little bit of humor. The fight's phenomenal, really. All the fights phenomenal. You're gonna have to fight me if you say that this movie is not good with fights. It also goes by a little bit slow. A little bit for me, because when I was watching it again, I watched it last night. I kind of almost fell asleep a little during when they were infiltrating Apex, but I woke back up when I heard Mechagodzilla. Let's talk about a little bit about Mechagodzilla, and then we'll get into spoilers. It's kind of spoiler, but so yes, as you know, Mechagodzilla is technically King Ghidorah. But it was a little weird because when we saw Godzilla kill Ghidorah when he was supercharged, when he was an atom bomb basically, he killed all the heads, but then at the end, he got caught in the head, he put it in his mouth, and then he used an atomic breath and killed it. So my question is how did they... I know the skull is a whole different story, but how did they get the brain? Because if the brain, unless a little piece was there and they were able to replicate it, then that's different. But it was also, the skull as a whole, yeah, like I said again, the skull, obviously there's going to be a skull, but the brain just makes a little sense. I know it wasn't the middle head, I think it was, Ghidorah's his far right head, which would mean our left head. If you were looking at him when he came first out of the ice, it was his far left head, but it would be his right. But, yeah, I think it was that. But then, now we're gonna really go into spoilers deeply, so if you haven't seen this MonsterVerse movie, click off right now and leave. But when he, all jokes aside, when Mechagodzilla first got on the screen, it was really surprising, but not a lot of people really expected it, because through the trailers they showed computers and you can kind of see the mech. You can see a Godzilla kind of ish mech in the background on this big screen, and I had to watch the trailer a lot more times when I was little to understand it, but I wasn't even expecting it. But at the time when I was watching this movie, I wasn't that deep into it. But just another heads up. before I started going really deep. Um, whatchamacallit? Skull Island is gonna be most likely this week again. Um, this will be posting on April 22nd, 2024, obviously. Skull Island will probably be Wednesday. But anyways, speaking of Skull Island, when also another thing is that Kong really was good in this movie. He really, I'm not trying to be biased to any of them. I'm not gonna be biased. Godzilla, when he got knocked out, after he got knocked out by the axe, Godzilla said, "I ain't playing no more," and he got on all four hands and started. He went full apex. He started scratching him. Like, I was like, what is this now? And like you can kind of see the scratches like over here, like scratches. That's what he did. That's what Godzilla did. He got on all four paws and just started wrecking this dude. It was so phenomenal when they did that. It was really so good. But then Kong, he used the city to his advantage. He would grab he used this circular thing as a shield to block from the atomic breath. He blocked, he used two towers, he grabbed the axe and hit Godzilla and knocked him out. I was like, damn. I was like, just got disrespected, fool. But then another thing about this movie is it made a lot of money, really. No, it made somewhat amount of money. But now let's start talking about Hollow Earth. Hollow Earth was not too the show foreshadowed until the last movie, Godzilla King of Monsters. It really wasn't foreshadowed. It was only they talked about his underground tunnels, but that wasn't. They weren't really talking about Hollow Earth like that. But this movie, they were really emphasizing it because that's where the Titans were originated, and that's where Kong's species were in this movie. Not gonna say anything else, but his species was they weren't alive at this period of time. They were all killed off because there was a war between Godzilla species and the Titanus Kong species. Now, but when they kind of revealed that the Iwi girl could talk to Godzilla Kong, I was like, what? That's impossible. But also you got to take in consideration monkeys and apes. They're mad smart. They're mad smart. Also, speaking about apes, Rise of the Planet of the Apes will be coming out soon, and so will my movie reel for the first one. Probably squeeze all the trilogy into the video, maybe. I'll think about it. If y'all want that, comment down below if y'all want that on the video. But back to Godzilla vs. Kong. What else is there to say, really? When they did the boat scene, that was one of the best scenes to do, because they did they said, but then also how Godzilla used the water environment was really good, because he grabbed Kong and made him go down to the surface. I was like, damn. They both were not playing because they're both apexes. But then, they kept keeping score. The humans, they kept saying round 1 goes to Kong, round 2, yada yada. When round 3 came, Godzilla, when he said surrender, he stepped on Kong and said, surrender now or else I will kill you. And then Kong had to sadly surrender. But then, a little bit after, Mechagodzilla shows up and says, I'm a combo you too. And then Godzilla's just fighting him. Kong gets his heart recharged by the pyramid, by the people that went to Hollow Earth. Also, before I talk more about the final fight, when they were starting to get out, Kong charged that axe, and then Apex said, "Give me the sample now." I was like, "What?" And then when they were coming out, when they took the heave, whatever it's called, I don't know what it's called. The little heave or flying car. I was like, "What?" When they were riding out, they showed Godzilla and they got a close up of him on the atomic breath and they started rotating it. I was like, "Damn, so cool transaction." I was like, "Damn." But then about the final fight, when they teamed up and they said, "We're killing you today," and they grabbed Mechagodzilla. Kong had his right, Godzilla had his left. They pushed him into a building, and Mechagodzilla kind of disrespected Godzilla more because he kept shoving him into buildings. I was like, "Damn, disrespect." And then when Kong started finally using the axe, he it wasn't charged, and then Godzilla said, "Let me charge it for you," and then started charging it. I was like, "What?" And then when he started hitting him, I was like, "Damn!" But then we also kind of saw how Mechagodzilla was working, and he was like trying to actually kill Kong and Godzilla. He was like using the tail, but then Dr. Madison goes up with her friends and just puts like I think wine on the computers and shuts Mechagodzilla down for like a split second, and then like they charge the axe and then he starts finishing him. And then when it was kind of disrespectful when Kong he hit Mechagodzilla in the neck and then he grabbed his neck and started pulling it and it ripped it out. I was like, "What?" I was like, damn. And then it's kind of good how they made this take place in Hong Kong. Like they try switching the location up every time, just so that we won't get bored. That's kind of it for Godzilla vs Kong. It's still 4.5 out of 5